Rich in experience.
Yeah. You're right.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good way to put it. I love it.
Get my dating sites on there.
Again, Martha May, where can we find you?
Look at the bottom of your screen.
Can we cut this out or what?
I think we're trying everything we can not to cut this out. It's going to be there.
It's real TV.
It sure
It's real.
is. So there's this guy that he lived undetected in the Chicago airport for 3 months. Now, I want to say for like the last 3-4 years or ish, I don't know, something like that. But I've traveled a lot of airports, and I've often thought, how long could I get away with living in the airport and no one notice? Right?
You've thought about that before you read this article?
I truly thought about it before I read this article. And then this article was sent to me by one of you, and I'm like, dude did it. As soon as it came through, I was in an airport.
Oh my God.
I'm like, dude did it. And so I was really curious about what this was. What I thought interesting, though, is don't do it during COVID because no one's around. Like if you're going to do it, blend in and when there's
December.
a lot of people. But anyway, this is from CNN.
Wear a mask, yeah.
Right. This is from CNN, and so a California man was scared to go home because of COVID. He said, and he lived undetected in Chicago's O'Hare Airport for 3 months, according to multiple reports. So he, a 33-year-old man, was arrested on Saturday morning local time. Charged with impersonation in a restricted area of the airport and theft of less than $500, the Chicago Police Department confirmed to CNN. He was arrested on January 16th, but his flight from Los Angeles was the 19th of October, and someone had lost their ID, and that's how he was found, basically.
An employee, yeah.
An employee lost their ID.
Employee badge,
he was working in the
3 months
airport.
later, he was confronted by 2 airport employees. I don't know what made them want to come up to him, but that's when he showed him the badge, they realized, oh, this badge has been missing for 3 months.
Yeah, and before we comment, O'Hare is the busiest airport in the world. It says approximately 84.6 million people per year pre-pandemic. So, I mean, that would be the time to blend in.
Right place, wrong time.
Yeah, totally. Wow. I was entertained by this. Like, seriously, this is good stuff.
I, as always with some of these, I have more questions than answers. And so I looked a little bit more into it myself. And the interesting part about Mr. Singh, because I just want to pronounce his name right. So Mr. Singh.
Oh, yeah. I didn't even get to his name. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, it is a little challenging, but I do believe that's his last name. So Mr. Singh, who's 33 years old, and actually the interesting part about him, he's highly educated. Yes. I was looking into it, and he pursued a master's degree in hotel and restaurant administration and taught undergraduate marketing and international business classes at Oklahoma State University. So I'm confused. I'm confused because this is an intelligent man that obviously has been affected by COVID, or something's going on that he's so fearful that he doesn't want to continue his journey.
Let me tell you how bad it is in Los Angeles. We talked about that last week too.
Yeah.
But they are on such massively hardcore lockdowns. It is, quite frankly, nuts to me.
Right, I can't even get a rental car out of the lot at the car rental place. Right, it took me 3 times. Right.
Yeah, it's really like it really blows your mind.
Profiling.
And so, depending upon his economic situation, going back might not have been a very good viable option. I mean, maybe he was being evicted, or any of those number of things, because like the tent cities are crazy. All the different things that are going on with the restaurants, and yet in LA they can be filming movies and things like that they have tents all over the place to feed all the staff, but the restaurants can't do it. So it's really confusing out there. So I'm wondering if he wasn't afraid of COVID, but afraid of the economic situation because of COVID.
Right.
But look he majored in hospitality, but here he is living at an airport.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just saying, give him kudos for that, because obviously his education helped him figure out how to eat or work around.
Well, I was wondering that too.
different
I'm
things
like, is this
that.
premeditated in any way? Was he on the plane and he thought of it? I'm so curious of like, when was the moment that he thought this is an amazing idea? I just want to know
Rent-free,
that.
Yeah, rent
It's not the cheapest place to eat, though.
But he didn't have. Did he have any money?
But,
So-
but
people
I'm
gave him
not
food.
sure if you had the idea to get back behind things, you could eat pretty easily.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
that's what I'm
there's-
saying. He
there's-
worked in hospitality. He knows how the kitchens
Yeah.
work and all that. That's what I'm saying. He worked in hospitality,
Yeah,
or
if you
knew
can
it.
get
know?
behind some of the
Yeah.
stuff, you can get. There's, pallets of food. Like,
Oh
literally.
yeah.
Yeah.
And also it's good to note that he also was undetected for 3 months between a Cinnabon and a shoe shine place. So I'm sure he had his fill of cinnamon rolls, and he did also mention that passerbys would give him food and stuff.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
we
yeah,
have to
yeah.
note that there was $500 that was noted as theft, which in my mind I thought was most likely probably clothing and food.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was interesting because there's a lot to think about with this, and did
much
his
to think
family not report him missing? Does he not have a family? There's a lot of things that it'd be fun to follow his story.
it
actually.
would, and I was curious. And then the last thing that I thought was interesting is because I read a few articles on it, how there was no interest in a psych evaluation or anything like that. I mean, I don't know. I'm just looking at it like if I found out that somebody was living in an airport and went to all these, all these means of continuing to live in the airport, I'd kind of want to see if they're healthy, what's going on. But I didn't read anything of them. It was more of him going to jail, getting these fines. I didn't hear anything of that. And that bothered me a little bit
Long
because
term.
I definitely feel there's some mental health concerns there.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I looked at it
Yeah.
a little differently because I seriously
That's
did.
why-
That's what we like.
Yeah.
I looked at it because I personally know.
Okay, let me interject right now.
Okay.
Keep that thought in your head.
Okay.
Okay. That's another question that I got. Why a panel of 5? Why didn't I just read the news and give my opinion? And it's because we don't think the same, right? And that's the idea of this. And I really enjoy, especially the reason, like I mentioned Governor Walz and Whitmer and Newsom and things, I'm a product of that, is because I would call friends and email and text friends and say, hey, this doesn't make any sense to me. You live over in, like, say, Michigan. There were some of it in California. And so we would bounce these different, like, hey, well, this is why. And then all of a sudden, a lot of it started to not make any sense for them, too. But so anyway, yes, go ahead. We think differently, and that's the idea of a panel of
Right.
5 people so that we can get each other's inputs.
I personally know this gal who was 19. She was younger. And she chose.
She's currently 19?
Well, no, now she's older.
Okay.
But this was several years ago.
Okay.
But she chose this as a challenge to see if she could live at a local hospital.
Oh.
And she did successfully, floor to floor, eating, sleeping in the rooms, not in the hotel rooms, but in the family waiting rooms and different levels. And it was, I won't say, it was kind of more of a challenge.
Yeah.
She was
How long?
19.
How long?
It's over 2 months.
Wow.
Is it locally?
See?
Yes.
See?
She didn't get in trouble. Nobody knew about it. But when it was all done, we had no idea. So it was,
Oh, interesting.
it was interesting.
Did she
Got
come and
Wi-Fi,
go?
so
Yeah.
Okay.
Did she what? What did you
Went,
guys
came and left.
Oh.
Visiting Martha May today, visiting Harmony tomorrow,
Yeah.
and there's enough rooms that nobody questioned
Yeah,
anything. Nobody.
yeah.
There was a little food service for people, and was she mentally? No, I don't know. I'm not saying this
No.
is this guy, but I'm just
Yeah.
saying it's
Right.
not. I just looked at the article a little different. I was kind of like, that's awesome. I want to try that. You know what I mean?
That's definitely a different perspective, and I wondered that too. I'm like, was this kind of an experiment as
Right.
well to like see if he can get away with it? But 3 months is so long.
I
What if
won't
you got
even
nothing
tell you
else?
how deeply I've plotted this out in my mind. Like every time I go in an airport, I'm like, you start observing things differently. I'm
Yeah.
like, I bet if things got really bad,
I do the
Right.
same thing. I'll look
Heat
at
and cooling and food.
I'll be looking, I'll be in a place and I'll look over there and I'll see a random room and I'll be like, if things were to get bad, could I go in there? I do the exact same things. I'll be driving on the highway and I'll look over and it's really wintry or something. And I'll be like, if my car broke down, could I go over there and survive? Would there be a place to go in? It's just the way our brains, I think, work. Survival.
Hey, a lot of people have asked how they can support the work we're doing here at Matt Logan Speaks. Well, you see this hammer that I got in my hand? It's pretty big. All you have to do is hammer the share button. Go ahead and hammer out a comment to us. Go ahead and hammer the like button. Go ahead and hammer the subscription button. Go ahead and hammer the notification bell so that when we have new content up, you're the first to know about it. We really appreciate the comments, shares, likes, because you know what? That's the best way you can support us, because the algorithms on all these fancy computers, that's what they need. We appreciate it.